My child, listen closely, because what I am about to reveal is not a coincidence, not an illusion, and not the result of your imagination running wild. Something happened moments ago, something so unexpected and so chilling that even the authorities themselves are still shaken by it. They were not prepared for this call, nor were they ready for the voice that spoke on the other end. And yet, that voice knew exactly what it wanted to say, exactly who it wanted to speak about, and exactly what message it intended to deliver. That voice spoke of danger, your danger. Yes, my child. It was about you. When the phone rang in that dimly lit office, the officers thought it was another routine report, another argument, another dispute, another ordinary incident in a long list of daily complaints. But the moment the receiver touched the officer's ear, the atmosphere shifted. Something unfamiliar crept into the room, a heaviness that made the officer sit up straighter, breathe slower, and listen harder. The voice on the other end did not cry for help, it did not report a wrongdoing, it did not ask for guidance. No. It delivered a threat. A deliberate, calculated, cold threat, and the target was you. But what rattled the officers even more was what happened right before the call cut off. Just before the static swallowed the voice, just before the line fell silent, that cold whisper delivered a date. A date spoken like a warning, breathed like a promise, etched like a prophecy. December 10th. The entire room froze. Fingers stopped typing, pens stopped moving, and breaths caught mid-air, because this wasn't a random day. It wasn't an accidental slip of the tongue. It was intentional. And the moment that date echoed through the room, every officer felt something they couldn't explain, a sense that this wasn't just a threat. It was a countdown. But do not fear, my child, because what I am about to reveal will open your eyes in ways you did not expect. Because the authorities may not understand who made that call or why they chose that date, but I do. And now, I will tell you everything. Let me take you there, into that room, into the very moment everything shifted. The officers were weary, their desks cluttered with unsorted papers and half-empty coffee cups. A dull fan circled above them, stirring the warm air in slow, lazy motions. Outside, the street lamps flickered against the shadows of the evening, and inside, the silence stretched long and heavy. Nothing about that moment hinted at danger. Nothing suggested that something dark was creeping near. But that's how danger works, my child. It waits for the quiet moments. It slips into the stillness. It enters through the ordinary. Then the phone rang. Its shrill sound sliced through the silence like a blade. Officer Rahman reached for it first, expecting nothing unusual. He had taken 1,000 calls like this before. But as soon as he heard the first breath from the other side, his expression stiffened. He held the phone tighter. A strange tone washed across his face, confusion, concern, and something else, something like fear. The voice on the line did not tremble with panic or confusion. It didn't plead. It didn't ramble. It spoke with purpose. It spoke with calmness so unnatural that the entire room sensed it. "I'm calling about someone," the voice said. "Someone you may want to watch closely." The officers leaned in. Someone began tracing the number, typing rapidly on the computer, hoping to lock in the location before the caller disconnected. But the next words froze them. "It's about them." There was a pause. As if the voice was savoring the moment, savoring the fear it knew it was creating. "Yes, them," it whispered again. "The one who carries the mark of destiny." The officer asked for clarification, but the caller spoke again before he could finish. "You cannot protect them. Not from what is coming." The officers exchanged glances. Something was terribly wrong. And then the voice dropped the final words. December 10th. That is the day. Before the trace could complete, before another question could be asked, the line snapped into silence. The call vanished as if it had never existed. But the dread it left behind lingered like smoke after a fire. December 10th. The date haunted the room. The officers debated, theorized, questioned, but none of their explanations came close to the truth. But I will tell you the truth, my child. Because the voice on that call was not from a stranger lurking in some distant alley. It was not from an unknown face hiding behind a mask. It was someone closer. Someone who has watched you longer than you realize. Someone who has observed your patterns, noted your habits, memorized your routines. Someone who smiles when they see you, someone who speaks gently in your presence, someone who pretends to carry goodwill but shelters malice behind closed doors. This is not an outsider. This is an insider. And the worst part, my child? This person has already chosen December 10th as the day they intend to strike. But hear me well, what they intend will not unfold the way they think. Let me show you what truly lies beneath their intentions. This individual has been planning for longer than you know. They have been nursing resentment, feeding jealousy, watering the seeds of bitterness that have grown like vines around their heart. They have imagined scenarios, rehearsed actions, and studied your movements with the precision of someone waiting for the right moment. They know where you feel comfortable. They know where you feel safe. They know the places where your guard drops. And that is where they intend to act. Not in the open. Not in a crowded place. Not where eyes might witness or voices might intervene. No. They are waiting for a quieter moment. A familiar place. A private space. Somewhere you would never imagine danger could reach you. Somewhere your heart relaxes and your mind lets go of worry. That is where they intend to strike. But my child, listen to me now, because this is the part your enemy did not consider. I am already there. I have already stepped ahead of their plan. Before they even formed the thought, I saw it. Before they whispered December 10th, I marked that day myself. Before they plotted in secret, I prepared the counterstrike. And now I will reveal to you what they could never anticipate. Their plan is unraveling. Their intentions are collapsing. Their shadows are being exposed by a light they cannot outrun. Because I will not allow their scheme to touch you. Not on December 10th. Not on any day. They believe they are hidden, but I have unmasked them. They believe they are clever, but I have rendered their logic powerless. They believe they have caught you unaware, but the truth is this. It is they who are walking into a trap, not you. A breakthrough is coming to you disguised as a threat. A blessing is coming to you disguised as a warning. A revelation is coming to you disguised as fear. For what they intend as your destruction, I will use as your elevation. My child, December 10th will not be the day of your downfall. It will be the day their illusions crumble. The day their secrets surface. The day their intentions collapse under the weight of divine intervention. So do not fear the date. Fear belongs to them, not to you. And now, listen closely, because I am not only revealing the threat, I am preparing your heart for what I am about to release into your life. You are stepping into a season of breakthrough so profound, so unexpected, so deeply crafted in heaven, that the enemy is panicking. That is why they have begun to move. That is why they have begun to shake. That is why they have begun to whisper threats into the ears of those who do not understand the battle taking place in the unseen. The enemy attacks hardest when your elevation is closest. And your elevation, my child, is right at your doorstep. You have endured seasons others would not have survived. You have walked through storms that would have drowned many. You have cried in silence while still showing strength to the world. You have stood tall even when your soul felt weak. You have kept faith alive even when circumstances tried to suffocate it. And now heaven is responding to your perseverance. Yes, my child, you are entering a season where miracles will unfold in ways you never expected. The blessings coming your way will not make sense to those around you. The speed of your elevation will confuse even those who wished you well. But those who secretly envied your resilience will crumble under the weight of what I am about to pour over your life. But hear this too, before elevation, there is always exposure. Before breakthrough, there is always a shaking. Before promotion, there is always a test. And December 10th is the day the shaking ends and the rising begins. That is why the enemy fears that date. Not because it is the end of you, but because it is the beginning of something he cannot stop. My child, I need you to lean in now, because what I am about to reveal next is deeper than the threat, greater than the fear, and more significant than the danger whispered over your life. I am pulling back a curtain that has been closed for far too long. And once you see what lies behind it, you will understand why the enemy is trembling, why someone has dared to speak your name with such darkness, and why December 10th has become a date that even the unseen realm is watching with nervous anticipation. Let me take you into the heart of this story, not where the officers sat, not where the phone rang, not where the whisper was delivered, but into the unseen space where intentions are born. The person behind that call, the one who murmured your date like a secret, has been wrestling with their own shadows long before they ever spoke your name. Their resentment did not appear overnight. Their jealousy did not flare up in a single moment. Their desire to see you fall has been brewing deep within them like poison swirling in a cup. And do you know why, my child? Because you carry something they cannot imitate. You possess a strength that threatens them. You walk with a grace that exposes their insecurity. You shine with a light that makes their darkness feel smaller each time you enter the room. To them, your existence alone feels like a challenge, even when you have done nothing to provoke them. You have been kind where others were cruel. You have been genuine where others were deceptive. You have been stable where others were shaken. And instead of being inspired by your resilience, they have allowed bitterness to twist their heart into something dangerous. This person has been watching you more closely than you know. They notice your routines, your quiet habits, the way you carry yourself when you think no one is observing. They study you not to admire you, but to find the cracks they hope exist. But every time they look, they see something that infuriates them even more. You are still standing. You are still rising. You are still shining. And worst of all for them, you are still chosen. This has been the torment of their spirit. Your success has become their frustration. Your peace has become their irritation. Your endurance has become their obsession. And when the enemy saw a heart weak enough to manipulate, he whispered an idea into their mind, an idea that grew into a plan, and a plan that turned into a threat. That threat manifested as a phone call. That call delivered a date. And that date became December 10th. But they do not understand what they have stepped into. They do not realize the danger is not for you, it is for them. Because when someone touches a chosen soul with malicious intent, they are not fighting a human battle. They are fighting a divine one. They are not stepping into a conflict with flesh, but into a confrontation with heaven. And heaven does not lose. Now listen to me, my child, because I want you to see what they cannot see. For weeks now, maybe even months, you have been sensing something. A heaviness. A pressure. A strange pull in your spirit. You did not know what it was, but you felt it. Sometimes it came in the form of uneasiness. Sometimes it came through dreams. Sometimes it came through sudden memories of people you no longer speak to. Sometimes it came through random thoughts of betrayal or deception. You brushed these off as imagination, overthinking, or emotional exhaustion. But it was not your imagination. It was not anxiety. It was discernment. Your spirit was being alerted before your mind could understand. Because I never allowed danger to sneak up on my children. I always send signs. I always give warnings. I always whisper to the heart before the threat reaches the door. And while you did not know the details, you sensed the shadow long before the call was made. You sensed the shift. You sensed the tension. You sensed the spiritual turbulence forming around you. All of that was preparation. Not to scare you, but to ready you for what I am about to release. Because the enemy's threat is not the real story here. The real story is what the threat is trying to block. Your elevation. Your breakthrough. Your transformation. Your divine turning point. And December 10th is not the day you fall. It is the day the chains break. It is the day the hidden becomes visible. It is the day I reverse everything that was sent against you. The enemy always attacks on the eve of a blessing. The storm always comes before the sunrise. The shaking always happens before the shifting. And now I will tell you something your heart needs to hear. The reason the enemy used someone close to you is because the place I am elevating you to can no longer include them. Their presence cannot travel with you into the next season. Their energy cannot mix with what I am about to release. Their heart, filled with jealousy and deceit, cannot stand in the environment I am creating for your future. So instead of letting them linger, I allowed their true intentions to surface. Not to harm you, but to separate you. Not to destroy you, but to protect you. Not to weaken you, but to clear the path ahead of you. This threat is not the enemy winning, it is the enemy exposing himself without realizing he was stepping into a spotlight. The authorities will soon receive another piece of information. I am orchestrating a series of events that will reveal the identity of the one who spoke your date. Something will slip. A detail will surface. A careless action will be noticed. And the one who hid behind shadows will be dragged into the light. There will be a moment, my child, when everything becomes clear, who it is, why they did it, how long they have been plotting, and how close they tried to get to your downfall. But instead of their plan destroying you, it will become the very reason your elevation becomes undeniable. I will cause them to stumble in the very trap they dug for you. I will cause their plans to collapse under the weight of their own intentions. I will cause their schemes to ricochet back into their own life. This is why you must not fear. The threat is real, but it will fail. The danger was spoken, but it will dissolve. The date was whispered, but it will not bring harm to you. Instead, December 10th will become a marker in your life. A line drawn in time. A moment you will look back on and say, that was the day everything changed. That was the day my life turned. That was the day heaven intervened. And now, to prepare you fully, I must tell you something deeply important. There is a place in your life, one specific place, where your heart relaxes too easily. A place that feels familiar. A place where you lower your guard. A place you consider harmless. That is where they intended to strike. Not physically, not with violence, but emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. Their goal was to break your confidence, not your body. To shatter your peace, not your bones. To destabilize your spirit, not your health. For the enemy knows something many do not understand: the mind of a chosen one is the most dangerous battlefield on earth. If he can cloud your clarity, he can disrupt your destiny. If he can shake your faith, he can delay your elevation. If he can disturb your peace, he can slow your momentum. But he underestimated you. Because while you have felt weak, you have never been fragile. While you have felt tired, you have never been defeated. While you have felt alone, heaven has always surrounded you. And right now, in this very moment, I am sending angels not just to protect you, but to expose the one who meant you harm. Each step they planned is being dismantled. Each whisper of deception is being silenced. Each attempt to sabotage you is failing before it even begins. You are entering a season where people's true colors will reveal themselves faster than their excuses. Some will distance themselves without explanation. Some will show signs of hidden resentment. Some will become uncomfortable with your progress. Some will mask their intentions poorly. Do not fear this. This is not loss, it is cleansing. I am reorganizing your circle. I am removing what cannot stay. I am exposing what cannot remain hidden. I am dismantling connections that have been draining your spirit. Because the next level of your life requires purity, clarity, and protection. And now, let me speak directly to your heart. You have done nothing wrong. Do not blame yourself for trusting. Do not punish yourself for loving. Do not regret giving your heart. Your kindness was not a mistake. Your openness was not foolishness. Your compassion was not weakness. The wrongdoing rests on the one who chose jealousy over gratitude, resentment over maturity, and deception over honesty. You did right. They did wrong. And heaven has taken note. My child, December 10th will not be remembered as the day someone tried to break you. It will be remembered as the day I secured your destiny in front of both your enemies and your angels. It will be remembered as the day you stepped out of danger and into divine protection. It will be remembered as the day you transitioned from survivor to conqueror. But we are not finished yet. There is more to reveal. More to uncover. More to elevate. The story is still unfolding, and you must hear the rest. My child, now that you understand the roots of the threat, the intentions behind the whisper, and the unseen battle unfolding around you, I must take you deeper. Into the chambers of your spirit where truth lives, where fear dissolves, and where revelation reshapes your destiny. Because there is more to this than danger, more than betrayal, more than the date that was spoken over your life. The enemy chose December 10th because I marked it first. And while the one who made the call thinks they control that day, the truth is, they are merely stepping into a moment that I have already claimed for your breakthrough. Let me show you what is happening behind the scenes, details that flesh cannot see and ears cannot hear, yet they shape the events that will unfold in your life. Last night, as you slept, there was a stirring in the spiritual realm. An atmosphere shift you could not perceive with your natural senses. Angels moved into position. Darkness became unsettled. Heaven leaned closer to the earth. Because a decision had been made, a decision that concerned you. A decision that declared your story would no longer be dictated by fear, betrayal, or hidden enemies. A decision that marked your life for elevation. You didn't know this was happening. You simply felt restless. Or perhaps you felt unusually tired. Maybe you woke up in the middle of the night for no reason. Maybe you sensed a heaviness you could not describe. That wasn't coincidence. That was the spiritual world adjusting itself around you. Your spirit felt the shift even before your mind understood it. And now, because the enemy sensed that something divine is approaching you, he reacted. He rushed. He panicked. He sent someone with a weakened heart and a vulnerable mind to carry out his intention. He whispered fear into the heart of your enemy, and your enemy, unaware of what was truly happening, took the bait. They made the call. They delivered the threat. They declared the date. But what they didn't know was this. By speaking your name, they alerted heaven. By whispering December 10th, they activated a divine reversal. By plotting against you, they triggered a spiritual law that now works against them. For it is written, those who dig a pit for the righteous will fall into it themselves. My child, I want you to feel the weight of what I'm saying. The one who threatened you thinks they are in control. They think they have the upper hand. They think the officers are confused, that you are unaware, that they have outsmarted everyone. But in reality, they have already walked into their downfall. Because I am stepping into this story. Let me take you into the mind of the person behind this. Not to frighten you, but to give you clarity, because clarity destroys fear. You see, this individual has been carrying resentment for a long time. Not because of anything you did, but because of what your life represents. Your strength exposes their weakness. Your resilience amplifies their insecurity. Your potential reminds them of their stagnation. It is not you they hate, it is the reflection of themselves they see when they look at you. They have been pretending for a while now. Pretending to support you. Pretending to admire you. Pretending to be at peace with your growth. But beneath that mask is a river of envy. And that envy has been flowing quietly, carving deeper channels through their heart until it finally overflowed. But here is what you must understand, envy always exposes itself before destiny elevates the chosen one. Their resentment is not a sign of your danger. It is a sign of your promotion. The enemy does not attack what is stagnant. He attacks what is rising. He attacks what threatens him. He attacks what heaven is preparing to exalt. And you, my child, have been chosen for something far greater than what you see right now. Now let me reveal something essential, the call that was made, the threat that was spoken, the date that was whispered, while meant to evoke fear, has accidentally become a divine spotlight. Because now, every spiritual eye is fixed on December 10th. Every angel is stationed. Every piece of darkness is trembling. Every plan of the enemy is exposed. And I am already restructuring events that will take place on that day. Let me show you how this unfolds. On the morning of December 10th, something will shift in your atmosphere. You will feel lighter than usual. Not because the day is without challenges, but because I will cloak you with clarity. I will place a hedge around you. I will send a whisper into your spirit that tells you something is happening in your favor. You may not understand it immediately. You may not see the full picture yet. But your soul will feel it. Meanwhile, the one who made the threat will be restless. They will wake up unsettled, pacing, feeling pressure they cannot explain. They will sense something slipping from their hands but won't know what it is. Their own conscience will begin to torment them. Their own words will echo in their mind. They will feel exposed even before exposure happens. And the officers, those who seemed confused at first, will begin to piece together small details, clues that seemed insignificant before but now align perfectly. A misplaced number. A familiar tone in the recording. A location that pinged briefly on the trace. A pattern in calls received earlier. Suddenly, the dots will begin connecting on their own. This is not coincidence. This is divine coordination. Even the smallest detail becomes a clue when heaven is in control. But before all this unfolds, I must speak to your heart directly. You have been battling something quietly inside you. A sense of exhaustion. A feeling of being overwhelmed by responsibilities, emotions, or unanswered questions. You have been carrying burdens that were never meant to be carried alone. You have hidden your tears so others wouldn't feel worried. You have forced yourself to stay strong because there were people depending on you. You have walked through seasons where you had every right to collapse, yet you kept standing. And heaven has seen it. I have watched every night you struggled to sleep. Every morning you forced yourself to get up. Every moment you pushed through even when your spirit felt crushed. You thought your efforts were invisible, but they were not. You thought your pain was unnoticed, but it wasn't. You thought you were surviving quietly, but angels were surrounding you. And now, because you remained faithful through storms, you are entering a season of restoration. Not just blessings. Restoration. The difference is profound. Blessings add. Restoration multiplies. Blessings arrive. Restoration repairs. Blessings elevate. Restoration transforms. You are stepping into a season where things that were broken will be mended, where things that were stolen will be returned, where things that were delayed will accelerate. The enemy attempted to interrupt this restoration with fear, with a threat, with a date. But the moment he whispered December 10th, heaven marked that day as a turning point. My child, this is bigger than someone's jealousy. This is bigger than a threat. This is bigger than the darkness that tried to intimidate you. This is about your destiny being unlocked. There is something significant scheduled for your life shortly after December 10th. Something you cannot see yet, but something heaven has already written. It may come as unexpected news, a sudden opportunity, a revelation, a shift in your relationships, or a transformation in your circumstances. Whatever form it takes, it will change the trajectory of your story. The enemy sensed it before you did, and that is why he acted. But he acted too late. For I had already sealed your elevation. Now, my child, let me reveal one more thing. The place they intended to harm you emotionally, the place where your guard is lowest, is being fortified even now. Whether it is a place in your home, a place in your heart, or a place in your routine, I am strengthening it. The cracks they hoped to exploit are being filled with wisdom. The vulnerabilities they sought are being sealed with discernment. The softness they targeted is being hardened with divine resilience. You will not be caught off guard. You will not be shaken. You will not collapse. Instead, you will rise with a strength that confuses your enemies and astonishes those around you. And when the truth comes out, when the identity of the one who made the call is revealed, there will be a moment of clarity so sharp, so unmistakable, that you will understand why this had to happen. You will realize that if this threat had not surfaced, you would have kept certain people in your life who were never meant to follow you into your future. This exposure is not a curse. It is a cleansing. Now breathe, my child. Let peace settle into your spirit. Because we are only halfway through this revelation, and what comes next will prepare you for the elevation that follows.